Oh, hi everyone. Today, I'm gonna tackle what I'm excited to see for the new Strange World movie. As I'm known, I want to look back at Treasure Planet as it's a massive request to animate. For some reason, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Disney's biggest disaster turned miracle, as I noticed, this was Disney's groundbreaking escape to finding a redemption arc after the disaster that was Atlantis the Lost Empire. As I know, I'm going to take a look back of 20 years to where it started from. Now, I'm going to tackle this one. Well, to celebrate the re-releasing of the new movie, of the upcoming, the re-releasing of this classic movie, as to coincide with the upcoming Strange World movie, it's time I tackle this one. Treasure Planet is a science fiction adaptation of Robert Louis Stevenson's adventure novel, which is ultimately titled Treasure Island from 1883, which is also the third retelling of an outer space setting based on the Treasure Planet from 1982, Treasure Island in Outer Space from 1987, and also the last Disney adaptation of the novels, Treasure Island from 1950 and Muppet Treasure Island from 1996, as it dealt with spaceships being powered by solar cells, reassembling the 18th century sailing vessels of the original Treasure Island, which was directed by both John Musker and Ron Clements. It features Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Brian Murray, David Hyde Pierce, Martin Short, Roscoe Lee Brownie, Emma Thompson, and Michael Wincott, and also Laurie Metcalf and Patrick McGoohan. Although it was his last film role, for what I realized that despite being composed by James Newton Howard, this was one of the most brilliant ideas I've ever imagined. Combining 2D hand-drawn animation with 3D animation was a cool idea to combine traditional and computer techniques to date. As I noticed that when this movie came out on November 6, 2002 in Paris, France, it bombed at only $110 million for a budget of $140 million. Now, let's deal with this one. On the planet Montresor, a young Jim Hawkins is enchanted by the stories of space pirate Captain Flint, and he had an ability to strike so hard when he disappeared without a trace for suddenly a reason. But he hid the loot of the fabled treasure planet 12 years later in a time skip. He is now a loose troublemaking speed demon. After his father abandoned him, he helped his mother Sarah to run the Bembo Inn after he was arrested by the police for recklessly sky surfing on a rocket-powered sailboard. Sky surfing? Kinda familiar. As I know I saw in Sonic Riders, I guess in Sonic Riders took inspiration from probably Treasure Planet itself. If Searcher had the bravery of Jim, that would be quite aspiringly interesting. Yeah. Speaking of sky surfing, as he seeks out to find the legendary fortune, he recruits the help of Dr. Delbert Doppler, as well as John Silver, who is his best friend, who is a cook, who warns about the dangers of exploring Treasure Planet. When they realize their lifelines are in danger from a black hole that forms it, the hideously insectoid Scroop tries to get everyone killed after he killed Mr. Arrow's lifeline. However, Silver and Jim have to work together with the help of Amelia and Morph to find the true reason they have to do it. For some reason, when they met a robot named Ben, they knowledge why Flint and his treasure would be found somewhere. As Silver would force Jim to use the map, Silver tricks Jim into doing this, realizing that it was Silver's idea to pretty much discover the true reason why he's done something bad to him. Realizing they have no idea what they're doing, as the plant falls apart, Silver and Jim attempt to escape with boatload treasure, but abandon to save Jim, realizing they have to survive the legacy of the damage, what they're unable to escape the planet in time. But Jim uses a makeshift sailboat and rides ahead, using the Montrez's spaceport's portal to clear the planet's explosion. When they are below decks, they found out that they'd been rebuilding the inn, that Jim will rattle the stars. Sometime later, after Doppler and Amelia are married, Ben is now a waiter at the gym. Jim is matured under Silver's mentorship and becomes a cadet of seeing Silver in the clouds with the stars. All I can say is I loved it. As I know it took way too long to realise, it felt like how James Cameron could have made Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, the writing was quite challenging. Although it's like what you see before Spider-Verse was. I could imagine that how it reached the Oscars at the 75th Academy Awards. Sadly, it would lose the Spirited Away alongside Lilo and Stitch, Ice Age, and Spider-Man. All of them lost to this movie for unknown reasons. For a reason why Spirited Away won over Spider-Man is that Spider-Man never got an Oscar nominee. That's kind of sad, but the soundtrack is quite intense. As I noticed it would have sucked if Treasure Island got remade. If Robert Louis Stevenson would be turning his grave since he passed away in 1894, that's how I learnt it from. From what I saw in the soundtrack, mainly I just found it something interesting. Thanks to the decent marketing and the special effects were kind of nice, and they added Goo Goo Dolls' iconic, I'm Still Here song as a perfect signature song. And the central theme of this movie is that when you believe in magic, when you see the many treasures you can find with the secrets, you noticed why you could learn how to sky surf above the stars of the clouds. As I probably going to learn my important lesson. Actually, I am just going to figure a way out to think of it. I'd probably going to give Treasure Planet some sort of a surprisingly improved 8.8 out of 10. Yeah, despite the minor issues involving around Silver turning his back on Jim and Scroot being a blandfully loathsome villain, this is probably a smash hit to remember it. Yeah. Like I said earlier, because it gained a cult following, it's a cult classic to begin with. So, with that out of the way, if you hit the like button, you could subscribe from now. Yeah, in case you like it for lovers of Disney, just before Strange World would come out this month, before it could premiere on its red carpet premiere in Los Angeles, I might say bye-bye to you all now and farewell for the Cheerios.